covering the world of professional wrestling. This is the Signature Spot with Chris Toplack.
3, 2, 1.
Hello there, and thank you for tuning into the latest episode of the Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. As always, I greatly appreciate your ongoing support, and I am super excited for this weekend. Full disclosure, I haven't done all that much this summer, other than a day trip here or there, perhaps visit another city, a craft brewery or two, but really, I haven't gone anywhere. So I'm really excited to get away 2.5 hours down the road to Toronto, Ontario, to take in all the festivities, NXT TakeOver Toronto, and SummerSlam. My wife will be joining me. If you see me, I am the man with the gazelle legs. Don't be shy. Say hello. Plus the culture. I love the restaurants and the craft breweries in the city of Toronto. I'm going to take that in as well. So today, I'm going to go over predictions for NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam. And guess what? That starts right now.
Our topic of the week.
NXT TakeOver Toronto takes place this coming Saturday from the Scotiabank Arena in Surprise, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The pre-show begins at 6:30 in the East, streaming live on WWE Network, WWE.com, the WWE app, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. The main card begins at 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. I went to the very first NXT TakeOver Toronto. It was phenomenal. That 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and the Revival was the greatest tag team match I have ever witnessed in person. It was just unreal. So there are 5 matches officially announced. There could be 6. I have not watched the most recent edition of NXT. I'm not sure if this has been announced or not, but here's a little bonus prediction for you. I'm going to give it to you anyway. The finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament, Jordan Myles versus Cameron Grimes. Again, it's not confirmed if it's taking place this coming Saturday, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. So Myles, formerly known as ACH, is best well known for his time in ROH in Japan. Cameron Grimes competed under the name of Trevor Lee in PWG and Impact. A real clash of styles here. Myles is more of a high-flying, high-level striker, while Grimes possesses more of a tenacious and hard-hitting mindset while also displaying technicality too. My prediction, Jordan Myles to win the NXT Breakout Tournament. And if by chance that match is not announced, we'll use that device from Men in Black and just pretend this never happened. And we'll start right here. NXT Tag Team Championship, the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era. The Street Profits claim tag team gold at NXT TakeOver 25. Quite the surprise to me. It was an epic ladder match. They defeated the Forgotten Sons, Burch and Lorcan, along with the Undisputed Era. Despite appearing weekly on Raw, there are reports the Street Profits remain NXT talent, at least for now. The Undisputed Era have captured the NXT Tag Team Championship on 2 occasions. It's interesting to see Bobby Fish involved, as he was a major factor during their first championship victory, but he couldn't enjoy the fruits of his labor since he was out during the reign with a torn ACL and MCL. Apparently, he is healed. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, by the way, formerly known as Red Dragon, remain one of the best teams in the world. So here's how it goes down. They either legitimize the Street Profits or recapture gold. So what happens this Saturday? I believe the Undisputed Era will become your new 3-time NXT Tag Team Champions. I feel like I'm pulling a Jim Ross and I'm losing my voice, and I haven't even been screaming. Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. Candice LeRae debuted under the WWE banner during the Mae Young Classic in 2017. She then quickly joined the NXT promotion in January of 2018, and while she's a popular fan favorite, this will be Candice's first major feud as part of NXT. Long considered one of the premier female talents in the world, Io Shirai joined NXT in the summer of 2018 after previously competing in the second Mae Young Classic and losing to Toni Storm in the finals. Io previously teamed with Kairi Sane before she departed to the main roster. Now, many believe Io would be the woman to dethrone Shayna Baszler, but ultimately came up short on 2 occasions. After losing in a cage match to Shayna, Io viciously attacked Candice with a chair and turned to the dark side by claiming she doesn't need anyone. No friends, Nobody. Io's transformation was not only limited to her attitude, but her overall look and entrance music as well. FYI, I enjoy both. While Io's demeanor has transformed, she has also brought out a very aggressive side in Candice. So here's my prediction. Io Shirai, I predict they will eventually position her in a similar way to Asuka, where she remains a long-term heel champion. The alternative scenario, though, sees Candice win and challenge Shayna, but I'm sticking with Io Shirai. While I'm not predicting this to be the proper match order, I'm going with this match next. For the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim. Shayna Baszler is a two-time NXT Women's Champion, and she's held the title for nearly 415 days combined. Very impressive, although she still falls short of the title reign of Asuka, held it for over 500 days. Remarkable. I don't believe that will ever be broken. And Shayna has shown very few signs of weakness during her current reign, but Mia Yim presents some very unique challenges for the champ to overcome. Yim is best well known for her time as Jade in Impact Wrestling, along with her 2 appearances in the Mae Young Classic. And since debuting for the NXT brand in October of last year, I was actually there for those tapings, by the way, she has quietly gained momentum and become a forerunner to defeat Shayna. Now, much of this is due to her aggressive and offensive-minded approach. She just does not back down. She keeps pushing forward. Now, Yim, very wisely, has already eliminated the numbers advantage by taking out Duke and Shafir in recent weeks. But can she take out Shayna one-on-one? I really like Mia Yim, but this feud, at least to me, has felt a little rushed. They haven't really built up Mia Yim properly and given me a reason to really fully invest in her victory. And therefore, I have trouble believing that she will be the one to dethrone Shayna, at least right now. So my prediction is Shayna retains, although I would not be shocked if Mia Yim somehow pulls out the surprise victory. I am particularly intrigued by this match, mainly because each wrestler competing in it holds a believable shot at getting their arm raised. For the NXT North American Championship, it is the Velveteen Dream, DREAM, versus the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era. The Velveteen Dream has been the reigning and defending NXT North American Champion since February 20th. That's where he defeated Johnny Gargano. This also makes him the longest reigning champion in the title's short history. Pete Dunne comes over from NXT UK, where he held the WWE United Kingdom Championship for an absolutely incredible 685 days, the longest of the modern era. He must be thinking something is missing, because I immediately associate Pete Dunne with gold. So he looks down at his waist and thinks, I need to add some gold there. One can imagine he's thirsty for it. Now, Roderick Strong has been a major part of Undisputed Era's Tag Team Championship reigns, and he's really come into his own as of late. There's a while where he was kind of stale and definitely at the back of the line when it came to the Undisputed Era, but now people are really invested in him, and he's become a viable contender. So many are predictably stating Roderick Strong wins, and then the entire Undisputed Era faction holds championship gold. That's what I'm leaning towards here. My prediction, it's not a bold one, is Roderick Strong. He's gained a ton of confidence, and he's capable of having a great match with virtually anyone, and that dates back all the way to the early to mid-2000s during his time in ROH. He's been great then, and he's great now. Meanwhile, I believe the Dream will move up the food chain and compete for the NXT Championship. All of that being said, I would not be shocked if the Velveteen Dream retained. He's one of my favorites, so I'm not complaining about that. And in the main event, it's going to be a barn burner, by the way, a 2 out of 3 falls match. For the NXT Championship, it is Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. At NXT TakeOver New York, Johnny Gargano defeated Adam Cole, and he fulfilled his destiny by becoming the NXT champion. And also, a little bit of trivia, NXT's first Triple Crown winner. Cole replaced Ciampa to earn that opportunity. In the rematch, at NXT TakeOver 25 in Connecticut, Gargano lost the title to Cole, which only made his reign 57 days long. It was over in a hurry. And this match is essentially a 3 stages of hell match, because Cole and Gargano choose the stipulation for the first 2 falls with Regal picking the third if it comes to that, and we full well know it's going to come to that. So what can we expect? Plenty of action, plenty of near falls. I'm going to be out of my seat the entire time, and I believe that Adam Cole, baby, will retain his NXT championship. Now, here's a major question. Will Tommaso Ciampa appear at the conclusion of the show while Undisputed Era celebrates with all the championship gold? Unfortunately, reports indicate he's still many months away from returning, and we may not even see him compete until the spring of 2020. I hope those reports are wrong and we do see Tommaso Ciampa, because he would be an excellent challenger for Adam Cole. Either way, death, taxes, and an incredible NXT TakeOver event.
You're listening to the Signature Spot with Chris Toplack.
SummerSlam 2019 takes place this coming Sunday, August 11th, from the Scotiabank Arena, formerly the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Kickoff show 5 p.m. in the East, main card 7 p.m. in the East. 10 matches in total. You know they could sneak in a few at the very last minute. It's the WWE way, after all. And unfortunately, I'm sure this match will be on the kickoff show. It deserves a little bit better because it will be fantastic. For the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, it is Drew Gulak versus Oney Lorcan. Oney Lorcan earned this opportunity after defeating Tony Nese, Akira Tozawa, Kalisto, Jack Gallagher, and Arya Daivari in a six-pack challenge on Tuesday's edition of 205 Live. Now, Lorcan has been teaming with Danny Burch on NXT house shows as of late, but he appears to be a permanent member of the 205 Live roster. Oney's aggressive style could potentially pose problems against Drew Gulak, but the Cruiserweight Champion is an expert grappler who will look to slow down the pace and dictate it. With Gulak starting his reign at Stomping Grounds on June 23rd, I can't imagine it will end so prematurely. My prediction, Drew Gulak retains. Just to call this out, I am not predicting this as the proper match order, but it's the one I'm going with anyway. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. Charlotte Flair is undoubtedly one of the best female performers of her generation, and she goes up against arguably the greatest female performer of all time in Trish Stratus. Trish also makes her illustrious return in her hometown of Toronto. Now, Trish, I'm going to put air quotes here, teamed with Natalya on Raw, but wasn't even tagged in. Now, perhaps this was done in an effort to keep her appearance on Sunday's special, but why even advertise her for the Raw match? I digress. While Trish will have the crowd firmly on her side, I would be outright shocked if she doesn't pass the torch to Charlotte. It would be silly because the purpose of this match should be designed to make this very competitive, with Charlotte coming out on top to further feed her ego on television. My prediction, Charlotte Flair. It's the match I'm looking forward to most for the United States Championship. It is AJ Styles versus Ricochet. This is going to be a video game come to life, a battle between two of my favorite wrestlers. I've supported AJ since 2004, and Ricochet, in my humble opinion, is the best pure babyface on the roster. These two have already competed in a series of great matches. So how did we get here? Ricochet defeated Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds to capture the United States Championship. The next evening on Raw, the Phenomenal One spoiled the party by defeating Ricochet. Now, the one and only did earn his victory back during the July 1st edition of Raw. Now, following the match, Gallows and Anderson and AJ all proceeded to beat down the champ, and at Extreme Rules on July 14th, AJ Styles pinned Ricochet following a middle rope Styles clash to once again capture the United States Championship. Ricochet earned his SummerSlam opportunity after winning a gauntlet match during the July 29th edition of Raw. Don't be surprised if Gallows and Anderson are banned from ringside to even the odds. My prediction, AJ Styles retains. And while I would love to see Ricochet have a lengthy reign as champion, I just don't see them ending AJ's reign so quickly. I mentioned this minutes ago, but I'm slowly creeping into that Jim Ross losing his voice at WrestleMania territory. For whatever reason, it's just disappearing. By God, greatest WrestleMania of all time. So hopefully by the end of this episode, it's gone as an ode to Jim Ross. I have to just do a lot of yelling. I promise you I won't do that. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler up next. Dolph Ziggler spent weeks tearing down The Miz, Shawn Michaels, and even Goldberg. As Dolph signed the contract on Monday, The Miz noted he would look forward to their match on Raw. He didn't read the fine print because his opponent will be Goldberg. No word of a lie. When I originally jotted down some notes for these predictions, I had Goldberg replacing The Miz to win the match. So this makes it pretty easy. You can expect a short match featuring a spear and a jackhammer and Goldberg getting his arm raised. For the SmackDown Women's Championship, it is Bayley versus Ember Moon. Ember Moon essentially earned this opportunity after Bayley selected her as the SummerSlam opponent. Easy peasy, right? Bayley has really come into her own during this recent title reign as she has floundered in recent years, so it's great to see her turn it around. Lately, though, she appears to be more serious and aggressive. I love it. As for Ember, I've stated this on numerous occasions, she possesses so much potential. I would be outright shocked if she wasn't crowned a champion within the next 12 months. I just don't believe this will be Ember's time. I hope I'm proven wrong. My prediction, Bayley retains. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. Remember the stipulation. If Owens loses, he has to quit WWE. Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon have been in odds over the past couple of months, but their history against each other dates all the way back to August of 2017. This eventually led to their Hell in a Cell match where Sammy pulled Owens off the announce table and Shane leaped off the cage and crashed through it. The roles have been reversed as Shane is now playing the part of the obnoxious and narcissistic heel. The stipulation is that if Owens loses, he's forced to quit WWE. Now, it should be noted that Owens has already quit before, so I really don't expect him to quit again. Now, I'm sure we will see appearances from Elias and Drew McIntyre, but Owens will overcome the numbers advantage to pull out the victory. My prediction, Kevin Owens. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is going to be one of the highlights of the weekend for me. I cannot wait for the return of The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. My wife has appropriately mentioned well ahead of time that she's going to look away the second The Fiend shows up. She's deeply frightened by that highly effective clown mask. I believe it is so cool. I love it. The last time we saw Bray Wyatt compete on television, it was back on the August 13th, 2018 edition of Monday Night Raw. Nearly 1 year ago. Time flies. The B team comprising of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel pinned Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Ever since then, he's basically disappeared. Then several months ago, Bray Wyatt returned in the ultra-creative Firefly Funhouse. We're really glad that you're our friends, and this is a friendship that will never, ever end. And all of his stuffed animal friends, he depicted a Mr. Rogers type character while allowing us to witness his terrifying transformation into the Fiend. Let me in. In one of the better returns in recent memory, Wyatt's Fiend character turned off the lights, had the strobe lights on him, appeared in the ring, had Finn Balor and Sister Abigail hit it, and then when the lights were fully restored, completely disappeared. This feels a lot like vintage horror movie storytelling where less is more, and we aren't quite clued into Bray's intentions, but I love it. With Finn Balor requesting time off, the outcome seems pretty obvious here, and they're also not going to kill the momentum of The Fiend the second he returns. My prediction, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, you can take that one to the bank. For the Raw Women's Championship, it is one of the cover stars of WWE 2K20, the man, Becky Lynch versus Natalya in a submission match. Similar to the Charlotte versus Trish match, this has been designed as the current champion with a long future squaring off against the talented veteran in her home country. Natalya has actually been a pretty effective heel as of late. She's been aggressive. She's speaking more with her actions. That's how I would position her character. Unless we are being thrown an absolute curveball, Natalya does not seem like a viable contender to defeat Becky, and I really don't see Becky Lynch as the man character tapping out, so the outcome seems rather predictable. Becky Lynch forces Natalya to tap out to the disarmer and retains her Raw Women's Championship. Just a few matches to go. For the WWE Championship, it is Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. This feud dates back to 2010. Where these two engaged in a great feud before Kofi's run quickly fizzled out. Now, in reality, there were rumors of Orton using his influence to put the kibosh on Kofi's rise to the top. With this recent feud, they have blurred the lines of reality to address it on live television. Randy Orton earned this opportunity after he pinned Kingston on a recent episode of SmackDown. Kofi's championship reign has been fantastic so far as he continues to overcome the odds, and he will do the same here over a crafty veteran in Randy Orton. My prediction, Kofi Kingston retains. I'm making an assumption, and I believe a pretty clear one, that this will be the main event of SummerSlam. It is for the Universal Championship. It is the Beast Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Seth has seen some better days physically, and in the headlining spot, this will be Brock's 6th consecutive SummerSlam main event. That is a remarkable feat to accomplish. Now, how did we get here? First, Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 35 to kick off the show, by the way. It was a hot way to do so by delivering a low blow and then taking advantage with some curb stomps. So at that point, he was the champion. Then Brock Lesnar appeared at Money in the Bank. He captured the briefcase, a seemingly out of nowhere shocking moment. And then after, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch retained their titles in the winners take all match at Extreme Rules, Brock Lesnar successfully cashed in to become the only 3-time Universal Champion. Seth Rollins then gained his rematch opportunity at SummerSlam, but the most important question, will he enter the event healthy? Well, recently on Raw, Brock Lesnar pummeled and punished Seth Rollins, which ultimately weakened his opponent. I mean, does Seth Rollins even have friends at this point? Did anybody say, maybe it's not a wise idea that the week before you were brutally beat up, but go down to the ring with a chair? Take your shot. It'll turn out well. Not so much. Everyone is essentially an underdog against Brock Lesnar, and this Sunday will be no different. We will see Seth attempt to get in some offense, but ultimately get dominated. My prediction, Brock Lesnar retains. Furthermore, he may likely even get drafted to SmackDown and appear on Fox since he has a big name, big value, and the UFC formerly had a relationship with Fox as well. So those are my predictions for NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam. The agenda for next week looks a little bit different, but it very much works in your favor. So as you know, I will be there live in Toronto to take an NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam in person. By design, I've taken Monday off. Well, really because I can sleep in and commute home at my own leisure. I don't have to arrive at home at 2:30 in the morning, right? So when I get home, I'm going to record my live experience at both events. I did so back in October for the NXT tapings. It was the highest viewed and listened to program I ever recorded, so let's hope to capture lightning in a bottle once again. If you would be so kind, do this for me. Keep telling your friends, family, and of course, most importantly, fellow wrestling fans to tune in on a weekly basis. Like, subscribe to wherever this podcast is available. That's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc., etc. And I will record that for you on Monday and make it available. So have a great weekend. I know I will. And you will hear from me on Monday. Happy trails to you until we meet again.
This concludes another episode of The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. For new episodes, subscribe on YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. And don't forget to follow The Signature Spot on Facebook for exclusive clips, polls, and opinions.